Hi, I'm back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to prepare for an interview. So if you have an interview coming up, I would strongly recommend to implement these 7 tips the night before your interview. And the reason I say the night before is so that it's fresh in your mind during your interview. Okay, so the first tip will be to do your research. Do your research on the company. You want to know about the company, you want to know about the position, read through the job description so that you're ready. And it may sound simple, but that's the last thing you want to do is fumble and bumble during an interview and you don't know, essentially why you're there. So do your research. Now, I would strongly recommend to look on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is an excellent tool to use. They have not only thousands of companies, but they have a section where you can read reviews from previous employees who worked in that position or worked for the company, current employees, so you can get a really good idea of what you're getting into. And they also may have the pay listed. So that'll be a great tip if you know all of these things, beforehand. So first and foremost, do your research, know the position, and know the company. The second tip is going to be to update your resume. So you definitely want to do this part. So typically, if you're interviewing for a position, you want to tailor your resume to the position. So you want to make sure that your current position also is listed on your resume. So you don't want to go into an interview and you're referencing a previous position that's not even on your resume, so you want to definitely make sure that's up to date and tailor your objective. So your objective is the body, the paragraph underneath, like your contact information, your name. So again, tailor those things. I'm going to make a separate video on how to update your resume, so you can check that one out if you want to see specifically how to go about that. But step number 3 is going to be prepare your attire the night before. You want to make sure you dress professionally. So you want to make sure what you're going to wear is clean, that is ironed. You don't want to wear flip-flops. You don't want to come casually dressed. So if you have a suit, wear a suit. You want to wear long sleeves, nothing too low cut. You want to look professional, dress for success. So step number 4 is going to be to plan to arrive 10 to 15 minutes before your interview. So if you put the address in your GPS, you can see that the location is 20 minutes away from you. Leave 40 minutes in advance. And you want to do this for a few reasons. Not only do you want to arrive early for your interview, but you also want to prepare for parking. You want to prepare for traffic. If there's an accident, you don't want to be too delayed because you left in only enough time to get there that didn't factor, any possible traffic accidents. So leave in enough time. So if you're on time to your interview, you're late. And if you're early, you're on time. You definitely want to come early. You want to give yourself time to prepare in your car or in the lobby. Maybe read through your resume one more time. Maybe read through your questions one more time. So definitely want to arrive early. Now the next tip is going to be minimum bring 3 copies of your resume with you, your updated resume. So you're going to have a copy for yourself and you're going to have a copy for the interviewer. Now it may be another person who does the interview. You don't know. That's why you want to have that 3rd copy just in case. Okay? So you bring 3 copies minimum, and you want to make sure that it's updated with your experience. Now it's going to be prepared to speak about your background. So you have your updated resume. This should make it easier because you were just thinking about your background to update your resume. But you can even you can read your resume to yourself out loud if it helps. Just to hear how you sound. You don't have to prepare an answer. You don't want to come across as scripted during the interview, but just be prepared to speak about your background. So you want to highlight yourself. Talk about any promotions you've had in the past. Talk about any leadership positions you may have had in the past. Talk about how you've helped your team. you know, how you're a go-to person. That's what I mean by be prepared to speak about your background. Okay. Number 6 is going to be prepare questions. So you don't have to bring your questions with you to the interview. You can if you want to use it as a reference, but I wouldn't suggest to read the questions during the interview. But you do want to prepare mentally questions to ask during the interview. So after you've done your research on the company, your research on the job description, you should have, you know, naturally just thought of some questions to ask during the interview. But if you haven't, you can even Google great questions to ask during an interview, and I can link that down below, you know, just to give a few tips on the best questions to ask during an interview. But you never want to leave an interview without questions, because it's going to show that you lack interest. Okay, so definitely ask questions. Never leave without asking what the next steps are. So if you're genuinely interested in a position, you just finished this interview, you did all of this research and prepared, you don't want to leave the final steps up to chance. So it's like sealing the deal. So what are the next steps in the hiring process? So hopefully these tips will help you in your next interview. And if anyone has any questions, just leave the comments down below. If you like this video, please share with anyone that may need this advice, these tips. Please thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe, and leave any comments as well if you have any questions. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.